Chinese has a lot of interesting ways of expressing sort of ritualistic, polite modesty. A lot of linguistically interesting ways of doing that. One of those that I really like to use, it's the Mandarin equivalent of saying, just to get the ball rolling, ... You're with some people, you're kind of discussing some ideas, you don't really know, you don't really have an answer to the question, you know? But maybe, okay, kind of, I have this idea, sort of, and then, so what about this? You know, maybe something kind of like this, and then we kind of get the ball rolling, and then we go somewhere, and then, you know, I don't know. You know, the Chinese equivalent of this is perhaps more aesthetically interesting. If you want to say just to get the ball rolling in Chinese, there is a very, very particular phrase that's often used, or at least can be used. It's all right. I'm going to write a little bit more clearly than I normally would. I'm going to rewrite that. Make it even nicer. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. But this is right here. Pao. Zhuān, by the way, a ZH is not a zh. There is no zh sound in modern Mandarin. It does not exist. Beijing is actually Beijing. You can say Beijing if you want, but you don't have to. It's actually much closer to the English spelling. So ZH, this is zhuān, zhuān, pao, zhuān. These are both first tones, by the way. Pao, flat tone, pao, zhuān, zhuān, first tone, flat tone. This is ying, third dipping tone. The Y you just ignore, so that's pronounced, yeah, the I as an E sound, ying. And this is yu. It's a lot like a German, like, I'm not sure if it's exactly the same, but very similar to like a German ü, you know, like an umlaut, you know, basically that's the same tone. Yu is ü. This is called pinyin, by the way, pinyin. This is the literally, like, put together sound is what that literally means, pinyin. Pinyin, this is like the standard romanization system that's used, again, in the PRC, the People's Republic of China, in mainland China. But anyway, pao, zhuān, ying, yu. Word by word, what does that mean? Character by character, what does that literally mean? I guess you could say that's toss, or like throw, or something like this. Pao, for example, if you say a parabola, a line that looks like this, kind of like if you took something and you just kind of tossed it like that. What kind of forms a parabola? You know, you might have learned this in 10th or 11th grade or something like that. But the word for that in Chinese is a pao object line, pao wu xiàn. So pao is like to throw something sort of in like that thing. You know, you just kind of throw it out there, you know? Not throw it out like throw it away, like in the trash, but just kind of just put it out there. Zhuān, what does zhuān mean? Zhuān is brick. Like the stuff you build a house out of, bricks. The sturdiest, better than straw, better than sticks. Ying, what is this? That means to attract. To pull, as if by magnetism or gravity or something like this. Attract, ying. Yu is jade. That very, very fine, I'm not sure if it's precious or semi-precious or what, but that kind of fine green, blue, turquoisey kind of stone that was, for a very long time, associated, for even like way back, you know, they have jade, carved jade in China going back, you know, 6,000 years, something like that. But, you know, associated with imperial power, you know, the person of the emperor, you know, very, very fine stone. So you put these four characters together. Now, what the heck does that mean? Toss, brick, attract, jade, you know? The way you would understand this is you first do the first two in order to do the second two. I'm gonna toss out a brick, right? Remember this is, what does this mean? This means, what does it mean? Just to get the ball rolling, that's what it means. Toss out a brick, you know, my idea, this idea, this opinion, this, you know, suggestion that I'm offering right now, you know, I'm just gonna toss it out there, you know, just kind of throw it right there on the table. And I know, this is as dumb as a sack of bricks. But by paoing this zhuān, I hope that perhaps I can ying some yu. Maybe one of these other people who are present, who are all much more intelligent and much more learned and much more experienced, by offering up this stupid brick, maybe I can attract someone else's very fine jade. This four-character expression, pao, zhuān, ying, yu, is, we don't need a parabola anymore. Parabolas are not relevant. This is called a 成语. A 成语. 成 can mean complete, it can mean success. In this case, it means like kind of complete or full. 语 is just language. Here it just means like a complete phrase. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands in Chinese. Interesting little 4-character phrases. They're almost, not necessarily, but almost always 4 characters that you can use in all these different ways. It's just like any other expression in any other language. It gives a bit of more flavor. It adds a bit of pizzazz to the language. Why say, here's my dumb idea, please give me a good idea, when you could say 抛砖引玉, much, much more interesting.